I'm Crafty Sue. This is my channel. Welcome to my market recap. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is awesome. This is by far the best market I've ever done. I don't think I'll ever outdo this. I really don't. I really don't. So I have lots to tell you. I started with my booth setup. I hope you enjoyed seeing that. And I'll talk for a little bit, and then I'll put up a video of what my booth looked like after I was done, so you can see that. There won't be any vlogging during the market because I just did not have time to do anything like that. No time. So let's start from the beginning. Of course, we were up early. Because it was a Sunday, we were not allowed to get there until 8 o'clock. And the fall festival didn't start until 10, which gave me plenty of time. It wasn't going to be an issue. So we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and got iced coffee and a sandwich, and off we drove to the venue. We got there and there's no one there. Usually you drive in and there's someone standing there to check you in and to tell you where your booth is. But 99.9% of the people do both days. They do Saturday and Sunday. I did not want to do 2 days. I'm an old lady. I know I can't do that out in the heat. So I asked them if they had 1 day open. I would love to do 1 day. And I got approved right away for it, and they gave me the 19th of October, Sunday. So lots of people were telling me that's not a good day. Sundays are not good days. People go out on Saturday, but on Sundays, it's just not as busy as Saturdays are. Wrong. This place was insane. It was crazy. It was a beautiful day. It was nice and sunny when we got there with a nice breeze. It was about 70 degrees. But I knew that wasn't going to last. I watched that weather all week long to see what would happen. And yeah, it got hot. But I was smart. Not once did I check my phone to see what the temperature was. Because I know if it hit over 85 degrees, I would have just felt even worse than I was starting to already feel. So anyhow, so we get there and there's nobody there. And there's vendors that are coming in, but we couldn't find any workers. So Grumpy finally found one gentleman. He was riding around on a tractor. This is on a big farm, so it's a working farm as well as a winery restaurant on the farm. And they had all kinds of events for kids at this festival. They had face painting, camel rides of all things, corn maze, a kids section with bouncy houses, and petting zoos, and so lots of things for kids to do. So Grumpy stopped this gentleman on a tractor and said, we don't know where we're supposed to set up our booth. And he looked on his phone for something. He says, what's the name? And I told him the name, and I don't know, he couldn't find me for some reason, which really bothered me. But I knew I was okay because I got an email from them a couple of days before the market with a map and saying what my booth number was, which was 27. But when I got there, it changed so much from when we were there in April. They really changed things around quite a bit. So I was lost. I said, I don't know where this is. And he says, I'm really sorry. He says, I can't help you with that. He says, why don't you walk up this way and you should run into someone who's working the festival and they will help you. So that's what we did. And we came across this lady. She was very pleasant, very nice. And I said, I don't know where my booth is, and we need to get set up. We need to get over there and get set up. So she took out her phone and she says, what's your name? And I told her my name. She goes, oh, are you the crochet lady? And I said, yes, I am. She goes, She says, well, I was going to have you back there in the kids section, which I saw on a map earlier. She says, but I think I'm going to change you over here. So we walked over to this spot and she said, see this trail going down here? She said, that leads to the face painting, the camel rides, and the corn maze. It's going to be a lot of people coming by here to get to those things. So they're all, if I put you right here, the first one, you will be the first thing that they see. And the last thing that they'll see when they come back out. So it sounded good to me. The only thing I wasn't crazy about is out in the sun. There was no shade at all where I would be. But I knew if there was going to be traffic going down for these other things that the kids could do, sounded pretty good to me. So we went with her and took that spot. And fortunately for us, my son, Josh, and my grandson, Jacob, were there because my son's wife is a crafter. And when they have markets that are 2 days, Lolo will do 1 day and Josh will do another day, and they'll each take one of the twins with them to help. And this way they're not spending their whole weekend at markets, and the boys are not spending their whole weekend at home alone on video games. So we were just there, I think we just got everything out of the car, and Josh and Jacob came over and they started pulling things apart. They got the canopy out. They set up the canopy for us. Josh opened up all the tables. I helped him, or I should say he helped me put all the tablecloths on the tables, set the tables up where I wanted them to be. That was such a big help. That was such a huge help. I was so grateful for him to be there. It was funny because yesterday, at some point, at the end of the day, he had said to me, Mom, he says, make sure you call me tonight and let me know how you did. He says, I know you did really well. I need to know how you did. I said, okay, I'll call you once I get home and add everything up and see what's going on. Well, that never happened because I was too tired. So I texted him yesterday and told him, broke everything down for him because I didn't get to things until later. I think I would have been excited to see how he did add everything up, but I was just too tired. So I sent him a text with all of my results, and my phone rang, and it was him. Holy crap, Mom. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. He said, since I was so much help to you, I'm calling you with what you can do for payment. I said, I knew you weren't just calling to say, I'm happy you did had a good market. And he was calling to see if I could pick up the boys from school a couple of days, because they're doing a 4-day market at the Florida Fairgrounds in Tampa. 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday is outdoors, then they have to move everything indoors for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah, it's crazy. That thing is nuts and extremely expensive to be in it. Way out of my league. I wouldn't do 4 days to begin with. I don't like doing 2 days. So of course, I'm going to pick up my grandsons at school on those days. And last year they did that market and we went. It was expensive. It cost you a lot of money to park, and then you had to pay quite a hefty admission fee. It cost us like $50 before we even got into the craft fair. Anyway, I digress. So anyhow, very grateful they were there to help. Very grateful. And of course, Josh had to stay with his booth, so I didn't see him too much. At one point, he came over with this black netting that you can attach to your tent, and it helps with the sun coming into your booth. That was a godsend. That was really, really nice of him to come over with that. He was in a shaded area, so he was lucky. But I was right in the sun. There were no trees around us. So that helped. And we had a nice breeze. We had a nice breeze all day long. But when the wind blew, that little netting would blow in a little bit. Even though it was tied up on the sides, it wasn't so taut that it didn't move. And it would come in and hit one of my shelves, knock it over, break it, everything all over the ground. Oh gosh, that must have happened 3 or 4 times. Finally, Grumpy said, I'm taking that off of there. I'm moving it to the front table, and that's it. That's where it's going to stay, because we're not going to keep picking that up. So that's what we did. Didn't bother the customers at all. I truly don't care. Any of them cared what my booth setup was like. No doubt that none of them cared about that. So once we were set up, we sat down for a few minutes, and then the woman kind of across from us and her son came over. She says, I thought I'd come over and look at your stuff before the market opens. And she ended up purchasing something from me. And I'll let you know what it is when I start reading off everything I sold. And that was very nice. She was very, very nice. And I'm trying to think in order. I don't want to forget stuff. And then the people started coming and coming and coming. Oh my gosh. I don't know if they made them stand outside until it was 10 o'clock and then open the gates. I don't know what happened with that. But out of nowhere, there were all of these people walking by. Well, at first, I was a little disappointed. I said, they're just all walking by. Nobody's stopping. But they were all going down to have the face painting for the kids and the camel rides and walk the corn maze and all of that good stuff. Had a lot of people who walked by and said, I'll see you on the way out. I'll see you on the way out. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. But once it got started and did not stop the whole day. Did not stop. But I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to show you what my booth looked like at the end of the day. Okay? I'll be right back. what I had left at the end of the day. I brought 3 of those big plastic bags filled, and I mean filled with plushies. Everything I had in those bags ended up on that table. Never thought I'd have to put everything out. That was a big surprise. Real big surprise. So, once the people started coming, it was crazy. I literally at times had my booth so filled with people that they were lining up outside of my tent to come in to look, to see what I had. Once we got started selling, and it took a little bit. It was after 10, people were going down to do the other things that the festival was offering. So it took a little bit. Other than that lady across from me who bought a couple little things, it was slow. It was fairly slow the first hour. Don't have my iPad in here to tell you the times that I sold things. I don't like doing that. What difference does it make? That's just me. But I would say from 10 to 11, I probably sold maybe 4 things. Once 11 o'clock hit, I never sat down again the whole day. That whole day. It was making me nervous. It was making me a little nervous. I'm not used to that. I'm used to my cute little markets with one table and being able to talk to my fellow vendors and walk around a little bit. I couldn't leave my booth. Never saw anything. I don't even know what the lady on the side of me was selling. She had her side up between her and I. I couldn't see her booth. I have no idea what she was selling. No idea. Didn't get to walk over and see my son. Fortunately, my grandson came over several times to see us. I think he was a little bored at Dad's booth and a bit surprised at how well we were doing at ours. He liked that. And at one point, Jacob has a new girlfriend, his first girlfriend, and he brought her over, Alyssa. Very pretty girl. He's 15. She must be about the same age because they're in the same grade at school. Her and her family moved here from Ukraine. So they came over. She bought something from me. I wanted so badly to just hand it to her and say, you can have it. But there were a lot of people in the booth, and I didn't think that would be a cool thing to do in front of all of these people. So I didn't, and I felt bad. But they went off. A little while later, she came back with her aunt, who they are living with right now, and introduced me to her. Her aunt bought a couple little things, I think keychains or something. That was very nice of her to come back and introduce me to her. And then a while later, in walks the whole family. There was Alyssa, her aunt, her mom, her dad, and her brother. So it was very, very nice to meet them all. Very nice to meet them all. Her mother doesn't speak much English yet. Her dad speaks English. He was funny. Very, very nice people. Very nice people. And I'm thrilled for her and Jacob. They seem very Twitterpated with one another and happy. And I love seeing my grandkids happy. So I look forward to seeing her more in the future. And I hope it lasts a long time and they're very happy together. So anyhow, had to tell you that little thing. Had to tell you that. So one thing I'm very bad at is hydrating. I always have a drink with me. Doesn't mean I drink it. So never drank the iced coffee that I bought coming up there. Maybe drank a quarter of it. So had to dump that, and because it got really not good after a while. And I did drink a bottle of water. Well, I drank some water, not much. So as the day went on and the heat got hotter and hotter, not good. Not good. I should have been drinking constantly. My son gave me heck at one point. He says, you and my wife, he says, you don't drink. You gotta drink. You gotta drink. He goes, look at you. He says, you're all red. Well, I did get red. I got sunburned. My face got burned. And I don't know how. I was under the canopy the whole time, but my face got burned. So, anyway, I digress again, because that is what I do. Oh, gosh. I have so many stories. I don't know where to start with them all. For the most part, everyone was wonderful. Oh gosh, the compliments. There was one lady who must have come back 3 or 4 times. And each time she bought a little something. And she came up to me and she said, you have the best booth in this whole place. I said, well, thank you very much. She goes, no, I'm telling you, you have the best booth here. And I said, okay, thank you, thank you. It's very nice to hear those things. I have a difficult time with that for some reason, but everybody was like, you are so creative. You make such beautiful things. You made these? Yeah. Now I have to get a sign that says, I made these. So I can just point to the sign. Yes, I made these. They are not from Temu. Oh my gosh. Did you notice my new logo? I had a table runner made with my new logo. I love it. I love it. I love it. And my new business cards just came in yesterday. So I have all my new business cards to match. It's got the same logo on it. I actually ran out of my other business cards at this market. I have no more. So perfect timing. My next market is in 2 weeks. It'll be a nice, easy, small one indoors. So that'll be a good thing. That'll be a good thing. Oh gosh. I don't know if I said this yet because I've redone this video like 3 times. My booth was so packed with people that people were waiting outside the booth to come in, waiting for someone to leave so that they could get into the booth. I've never had that happen, ever. Unbelievable. The kids, oh my gosh. Talk about having to touch everything and move everything. Ooh, there were times my heart was beating so hard and I just wanted to go, stop, stop. But you can't do that. You know, you can't do that. And I'm amazed sometimes how few parents rein in their children. There were not any kids who came into the booth by themselves. They were always with their parents. But they were just all over everything. Most of them bought something. Most of them bought something, so that was a good thing. But, ooh, if you do this, if you're a crocheter and you do markets and you see these kids looking at everything and squeezing everything and dropping it on the ground, oh, you know the feeling. You know the feeling. But, a small price to pay, I guess. To do well. To do well. And I know I'm forgetting things I wanted to tell you, but maybe as I read off all of my sales to you, I'll remember some certain stories. I will do my best to put up some pictures. I won't put up pictures for everything I sold because I have a hard time editing when I have to add those pictures in. And then the last couple of times that I've done that and tried to upload the video, it says it's uploaded, but not all of the video uploads. So I have to be careful with that. I'm no pro at editing, that's for sure. So I will try. I will try to upload some of the pictures for you, but just warning you in advance that I probably don't even have pictures for some of these because I sold some older items that I've had for quite a while. So I don't even know if I have pictures for those around anymore. So I guess we should get started, right? Excuse me while I have to look down at my notes. Okay. So, like I said earlier, my first sale was from the vendor across the hall from me. Across the walk from me. And the very first thing to sell was a bee. She bought a bee and she bought a buffalo. Oh my gosh, Sue, you're still tired. And a butterfly keychain, buffalo keychain. Oh my gosh. So the bee's $12 and the keychain was $7. So that was a total of $19 for that sale. Then the next thing to sell was a myrtle turtle for $12. Then I sold one of my little parakeets for $12. And this I was thrilled with. I think I brought 5 of my splooting animals from Snuggle Beans Crochet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had 5 of them. And the 4th sale was my splooting wolf for $27 and my splooting fox for $27. I was so happy. I was so happy. And right after that, this big man walks right over to my Black Fury, Night Fury, Toothless, whatever you want to call him. The one I made bigger, I think I just showed it in my video last week. And he bought $38. Boom, right off the bat. Right off the bat. Nice man. Nice man. Loves How to Train Your Dragon. Then I sold 2 car swings, a $12 one and a $10 one for $22. Then my next sale was a chicken and egg for $10 and one of my Mabel chickens I just made for $14. They were so cute. It was a young couple and I guess they had a little one at home. They were there by themselves. And they bought my black and white Mabel chicken. And when they were looking at the chicks and the eggs, they had picked up one, and then she noticed that I had a black and white one too. And she turned to her husband. She goes, "What do you think? Should I buy the black and white one to match this one?" And he goes, "Yeah." He says, "Get them to match." So she bought the black and white chicken and egg and a black and white Mabel chicken. So that was a $24 sale. And then someone else came in and bought 2 car swings, and that was $22. Highlight of my day happened next. Young couple, engaged couple, already had a little baby. They had the baby with them. And they may have been the one who had just bought the 2 car swings. I'm thinking that's it because she bought a little something. But her boyfriend kept looking at my Kumara, and I will try to put a picture of it up here. That's that big orange 9-tailed fox that I made last year. And he loved that thing. He knew what it was. He knew what anime series it came from, and he was just drooling over it. But it was expensive. It was my most expensive item there. And just talking with them, you know, he was asking me questions about it. I made that and blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah. And unwittingly, I said, that's the first and last I'll make. It was just too much work, and I don't think I'll be making it again. And he just looked at her with soft puppy dog eyes, and she couldn't take it. And she took out $80 and handed it to me. And I sold Kumara for $75. And she turned around and gave it to him, and he was like a child. He was so thrilled that she bought that for him. And I was almost in tears. Not anything to do with selling it, but just watching the two of them and her doing that for him and seeing how, I'm going to cry now. So I said to her, I says, I have to give you a hug. And I walked around and I went into the, into my booth from that side, and I hugged her and I said, that is the kindest thing. That is just so nice what you just did for him. He is so happy. Look at him. And Grumpy had said to him, he goes, you have a keeper. You better be good to that woman. She loves you a lot. It was so nice. Oh, I got little tears here. Wow. I did not expect that. I brought him to several of my markets, and it was like my little draw item, I didn't bring my $100 dragon with me. Maybe I should have. Who knew it would be like this? Who knew? But Kumara's gone, and I won't make another one. I say that now, but who knows down the line? Who knows? So, yeah, $75. My next order, someone finally bought my ghost. My ghost. See, it wasn't the first thing. Like most of you said, it would be the bat, the ghost, or the skeleton octo you thought would sell first, or the scarecrow. Those were the ones people had said the most that would sell first. None of them did sell first. So this person came in and they bought a ghost, and the ghost was $30, and 3 car swings, 2 for $10, 1 for $12, for a total of $62. Nice sale. Right after the Kumara, too. Then someone came in and bought one of my candy corns for $5. Then a little boy wanted Angel from my Stitch series. I had Stitch, Scrump, and Angel, and he picked Angel. He wanted her. And Mom said, okay, if that's the one you want, you sure you don't want Stitch? Nope. He wanted Angel. And he was happy as a lark. So that was $30 for Angel. And then after that, I sold my little Scrump. It was only a little thing to a little girl, and that was $14. Next was my owl. I only had one of those, $15, and a bald eagle keychain for $5. So that was a $20 sale. I think I'm out of bald eagle keychains. I have to look and see. Next was Bob the Frog. I think that's his name, but we always called him Bum Frog because he has a little bum. And sold one of him and sold a chicken keychain. They were each $8 for a $16 sale. Then I sold a car swing for $10. Another car swing for $12. And then it was Frankie Frog. Those were the newer ones that I just showed in probably my last video. I sold one of those for $10. Then a lady came in and I finally sold a pumpkin. I sold a medium-sized rustic pumpkin for $12. She bought one of my little chubby critters for $14 and a jumping spider, my first jumping spider sale, for $10. So that was a $36 sale. Then I sold my Siamese cat. I've had these a while, quite a while, for $14. Next sale was a butterfly keychain for $7, a chicken and egg for $10, and a slap snake bracelet for $10. So that was a $27 sale. Then the cow I just made. Lady walked in, walked right over. I want that. Picked it up, gave it to me, $35. I'm telling you, it was crazy. Especially, I think between 11 and 12 o'clock was my busiest time. It was busy all day, but that just never stopped. Next sale, chicken and egg for $10. And remember my little ghost pumpkin latte? It was the cup with the cream on top, but you pulled it out and it was a little ghost? That sold for $15. So that was a $25 sale. I sold one of my big axolotls out of my clearance bin for $20. Then it was another Myrtle turtle for $12. Then I sold Stitch for $30. My Hello Kitty that I've had forever, I did lower the price on her at this market, and she sold for $24. And another Bob the Frog, or Bum Frog, whatever you want to call him, for $8. That was a $62 sale. Awesome. Next was another Myrtle the Turtle and another car swing for a total of $22. Then it was a possum for $14. Then another Frankie Frog for $10. And my voodoo doll sold for $18. Then my last Frankie Frog sold for $10. I sold out of them. I made and brought 3 and they all went. Then out of the clearance bin, I sold my Minion, which has been around for a long, long time, and my birthday dog. They were each $10 for a $20 sale. And then Grumpy, when my table was getting a little sparse and you put more things out, I had that big giraffe that I had made, and a lady walked in and absolutely loved it. I think she bought it for a baby shower or something. And she bought that giraffe for $35. Then next was my large scrump and a chicken and egg for $35. The scrump was $25. Trying to think now. Then I sold a jumping spider for $10. And then the bat sold. Finally, bat sold. And that was $30. Then I sold my winter fairy. Gosh, I made this series of fairies way back when I first started doing those markets at the hotel. And I had the spring, summer, fall, and winter fairies. Winter fairy went. I did lower the price a little bit on this because I've had them for so long. I didn't want to put them in the clearance bin. So I just lowered the price, and the White Fury sold for $25. I have one left. The autumn one did not sell, but I had already sold the spring and summer one. Next was Myrtle the Turtle for $12. I'm not done yet. Then this couple came in. Oh, they were really sweet. They were sweet. They were looking around. She was just loving everything. And she ended up with one of my velvet puppies. I make these all the time. I always sell them. And she bought one of those, and she bought my horse. Oh my gosh, I've had this horse forever. That was $24. So Horsey finally found its forever home along with Velvet Puppy. So I'm very happy about that. Then a man came in and he wanted a shark. And this is where I started having trouble with my square. And I finally figured out that I was losing charge. I was using it so much that the charge was running out on it. But fortunately, Grumpy had a portable charger, and we brought that with us, so we were able to plug my square into that, and I was able to use it. So, always, if you go to a big market, bring a portable charger, because I needed it. And my phone was starting to run low, and I was getting a little nervous about that. But he bought a shark for $15. Then the next person bought a shark for $14 because it was a little bit smaller. A chicken and egg and an axolotl for $12. So that was a $36 sale. Then a jumping spider for $10. Then an axolotl keychain for $7. Then my big scrump sold. And that sold for $30. I sold one of my little chubby mice that I showed you a couple of weeks ago for $14 to a gentleman who wanted it for his desk at work. He liked putting little things like that on his desk. Then I sold an axolotl keychain for $7, a pumpkin keychain for $5. Oh, a little tiny pumpkin. It was so cute. And this woman bought it, and I says, would you like me to put it in a bag for you? She goes, oh no, and she clipped it right onto her purse. She goes, it's going on my purse. And off she went with a little pumpkin hanging on her purse. That was so cute. Then I sold my splooting frog. Oh, this was a young man. I would say maybe in his early 20s or so. He came over with the biggest smile on his face. He had my splooting frog and a Mabel chicken. And he was over the moon. He was so happy. I said, oh, are these gifts for someone? And he goes, no, these are for me. And I went, oh my God. I said, well, enjoy them. He was so happy. It was $41 for both of them. He was the sweetest person. We talked for a little bit. Very, very nice. Then I sold another possum for $12. Then another Myrtle the turtle for $12. Then a car swing for $10 and another axolotl keychain for $10. And then my splooting deer for $27. Wow. Did not expect that. Then a little girl, well, young girl came, and she was looking at the turtles. And she liked the sunflower turtle, but she wasn't sure if that was the one she liked because she liked the birthday sea turtle. And she was back and forth. One was $15, one was $16, and her dad just said, get both of them. So they bought both those turtles for $31. I sold a loaf cat. I've had these things forever. But I sold one for $14. I think it was a pink and black one. And I sold another Bob the Frog. And I think this may have been the end of Bob the Frog because I sold out of them for $8. Last page, I promise. Then that lady I told you about that kept coming back like 3 or 4 times. So she came back and she bought 2 more jumping spiders at $10 each for $20. And my last sale of the day was from my clearance bin, and it was one of the teapots with the mouse inside for $14. but he gave $15 and said, keep the dollar. So we got a $1 tip right at the end. So that was quite a sale. So in all, I sold 85 items. 85. Oh my gosh. No way I can make up 85 items in 2 weeks. I don't need it for 2 weeks. I need them for the end of November, really, because I have a 2-day market then. So, I still can't believe this. In cash, I got $529. Square was $785 for a total of $1,314 in sales. I'm still in shock about that. Still in shock. So my fees were, my square fee was $25.30. The fee for the 1 day at the fair was $100. So I was left with $1,188.70. Never dreamed I'd make that kind of money. Never, ever, ever. And my best sellers were car swings. I sold 11. I brought 13 with me. I sold 11 of them. Then the keychains, I sold 8 of those. And tied for third place at 5 each were Jumping Spiders and Myrtle the Turtle. Definitely have to make more of those. And I sold out of Frankie Frogs, Bob Frogs, my Stitch series, Stitch, Scrump, and Angel. Sold all 3 of those. And 14 of my single makes sold. So technically I'm sold out of those, but I don't really count them as being sold out because there was only one of them. But I no longer have any of those 14 items. And that's it. That's it. That was my market. Incredible, right? Did you notice that all of you who were so gung-ho about my dust bunnies, not one sold? A couple of people looked at them and, oops, sorry. A couple of people looked at them and laughed, but nothing. Nothing. And I had made up these cute little tags that I put on them. And it says, Ode to a Dust Bunny. Ooh, I need my glasses for this, it's small. Ode to a dust bunny. Beneath the couch where secrets sleep, a tiny fluff begins to creep. It twirls and spins in soft ballet, a shadow dancer made of gray. Didn't matter. It didn't matter. And I put eyes on these. And I thought they looked better. But I'll show them to you in next week's video since I made them after last week's video. And you did see them in the little clips of my table. So that's it. That's my market. I am thrilled, thrilled, thrilled. Of course I'm thrilled. Oh my gosh. I still can't believe it. Still can't believe it. I truly believe, even though I have that big 2-day one at the end of the month, I don't know. I don't know if I can get enough things made to make that much money at that 2-day one. We'll see what happens. Although I do have a bunch of Christmas stuff. Fall items, Halloween items, Ghost and the Bat, the Voodoo Doll, and a little Scrump. All those pumpkins I made. Well, I had 2 extra pumpkins because an order got canceled, but not much. 1 small pumpkin. So I guess I'm going to have fall and Halloween things left over for next year. Definitely Halloween, because I won't take that to my next market. That's in 2 weeks. But I will take some pumpkins because there's plenty of time for pumpkins between now and Thanksgiving. So we'll see what happens then. Thank you so much for coming and watching, and for all your encouragement and cheering me on before I had this market. It was wonderful. Of course, I got totally overheated, probably a bit dehydrated. My fault for not drinking enough, and my back killed me from standing all day long. 8 hours on my feet is something I'm not used to. Just not used to. But all in all, I had a marvelous day. It was so much fun. So much fun. So many nice people. Thank you, Grumpy, for all your help. Josh, for your help. Jacob, for yours. And couldn't have done it without any of you. Any of you. And we'll leave it at that. Until next time, keep crocheting. Bye.